This video is sponsored by the subscribe button as we are going for 20,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. What's up? Thank you so much for stopping by today, and in this video I have so much new exciting information to be talking about, and this did come from Lego Snoop over on Discord, particularly the BrickTap Discord server, but today we are talking about all of the March 2026 Lego Star Wars sets, as these did just leak, and there's some really interesting sets, so if you enjoyed this video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, as well as dropping a like, and with all of that out of the way, let's jump right in. First things first, let's start off with the 75423 Luke Skywalker's Red 5 X-Wing. This one includes 584 pieces and will apparently cost $100 US. Now, I don't know if this is a typo. It was originally meant to be 90. However, if this is 100, that is absurd. This is a terrible price per piece, but let's jump into the info here about this set. It includes 2 smart minifigures, being Pilot Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. And it will include 3 regular minifigures, being 1 Stormtrooper, 1 Rebel Technician, and R2-D2. Now, this is 5 minifigures for $100. This is a decent minifigure selection, not terrible, but it still does not feel like it is worth that full $100 price tag. Now, all of the Smart Brick sets will also include a wireless charger as well as a smart tag. I'm not too sure what exactly that is. Maybe it's something that can help you differentiate different Smart Bricks or something like that. But we also have news about the side builds that are included in this set. One is a small Imperial turret. There's also a Rebel ground crew vehicle and a small Rebel build to interact with using the minifigures. There's also a Smart Brick, and that of course will interact with all of those small side builds, and it will interact with the X-Wing. This seems like an absurdly terribly priced set with just 584 pieces, and if this costs $100 and the leaked image that we saw back in, about a month ago, if that one is real, this is insane, and a lot of people will really hate this set for how overpriced and expensive it actually will be. Now, jumping into the next set, this is the 75421 Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. It includes 473 pieces and will retail for $70 US. There is a much smaller minifigure selection in this set. It includes just 1 smart minifigure, which is Darth Vader. This is of course one of the most obvious choices that we could see, Darth Vader, and then it includes 1 regular minifigure, and this is just a Rebel fleet soldier. Now, I don't know exactly why he's being included over perhaps some sort of Imperial Technician or a Stormtrooper, but this set will also include the same thing as the X-Wing with a smart brick, a wireless charger, and smart tags. There is a small side build that includes a Rebel turret and 1 small Imperial side build as well. The smart brick will be able to interact with the side builds and the TIE Advanced, according to the leak here, and I'll be honest, I am a little more excited for this one more than the X-Wing because we have not seen a Darth Vader's TIE Advanced in a decent amount of years, and I still think this will be way too expensive, less than 500 pieces for $70, and then the side builds will of course take up part of that piece count, so who knows how big the actual TIE Advanced model will be, but I don't have very high hopes on it being a big model. It will probably be similar in scale to the 2016 version that we saw about 10 years ago. Okay, now we have one of the more interesting sets. This is the 75427 Throne Room Duel with 962 pieces. It will cost $150 US. Yes, we are back to that old price per piece like we saw in the summer of 2025 with 962 pieces, nearly the same price as the Turbo Tank and MTT. However, this one has a much bigger minifigure selection. With the smart minifigures are Darth Vader. We're also getting Emperor Palpatine and Luke Skywalker, most likely final battle Luke Skywalker. So 3 smart minifigures, that's a good selection, the most we've seen so far out of these leaks. And there are also a couple of regular minifigures, one of which is an A-Wing pilot. Now, I'm not sure why this pilot exactly, and there's also 2 Royal Guards, which is standard for the previous throne room sets that we've seen, and apparently there is potentially 2 smart bricks in this set. And of course, the wireless charger and the smart tags are also included. Now, some info about the set is that the build is a round platform with long axles used to make the minifigures dual, similar to the 7257 final duel from Revenge of the Sith back in 2005. So you'll really be able to sort of interact with this set more than you would a normal playset, which is interesting. I don't know how well this will go over with the older audience. I'm sure for children this will be nice, but with the older fans, I really don't know about this. The throne room is attached to the dual platform, and the side builds include a Death Star 2 turret and an A-Wing. Now, okay, so that makes sense why we get the A-Wing pilot now that I'm reading this, and the smart brick will be used to interact with it. Interesting, we're getting the A-Wing in a separate set rather than with the TIE Fighter, or I mean the TIE Advanced, or the X-Wing. It's interesting he's coming in this throne room duel. It does not feel like an A-Wing deserves to be in a set like this, but honestly, thinking about this is going to be fun, because I'm really happy they're not just going with the generic playset. We just saw the 18 plus version back in 2023, so it's good that they're going with a more lighthearted approach. I don't think the adult fans or the older fans will like this very much, because I don't think it will be looking great on display unless you're able to remove the platform where the minifigures duel and be able to separate that and just have the Palpatine's throne room. But it's very cool that they're doing this, and I really hope that's something that we see with future sets, potentially a Palpatine's arrest in the future. Alright, now the next set is one that I don't think many people wanted, but looks like LEGO is finally doing it again. Around 6 years since the last version of a playset, this is the 75420 Luke Skywalker's Landspeeder with 255 pieces. This one will be $40 US, and it includes just one smart minifigure, being Farm Boy Luke, and it includes 2 regular minifigures in this set, being a Jawa, and instead of C-3PO, we're getting a Gonk droid, apparently. That was not on my checklist to get a Gonk droid for really no reason. I don't remember recalling seeing him in A New Hope. Maybe if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but this one will apparently include a Tatooine hut side build, and there is no smart brick included. So this is just a normal playset, but no smart brick will be included. Now, it does say that the smart brick will be able to interact with it, but it feels like LEGO is too cheap to include it in this $40 set. I really don't get it. So will you have to spend, the $70 on the TIE Advanced perhaps to get the smart brick? I don't know. This is very strange that there is no smart brick included in the cheapest set. I would have thought maybe, they kind of throw it in there for people who can't afford spending nearly $100 to get it, but it's really nothing special. It'll probably be the best build we've seen so far, probably the most tiled off, and I don't expect anything crazy from this one. I think the fans will just be used to getting these Landspeeders, so I don't think it'll be very crazy once it gets revealed, but it'll probably be popular with the people who missed out on the old one from 2020 and are looking to get a cheap one. This one is actually $10 more than the last one. That's absurd. It just keeps getting more and more expensive, and less than 260 pieces in this one, but hopefully it looks good, and I'm still very confused as to why there's no rumored smart brick. Maybe that'll change, but we'll have to wait and see. Alright, now we have news about the next set, which is the 75422 Dagobah Jedi Training with 440 pieces. This one's also coming in at $70 US. There are 2 smart minifigures included in this set, one being Dagobah Luke, which is obvious, and then we're also getting Yoda. This is fun to see. I wonder if Yoda is going to have a new print, some sort of new design to be muddied up and stuff, to see how we see him in The Empire Strikes Back. R2-D2 is also included in this one, but as a normal minifigure. The main build is a large Yoda hut. There is a side build with a tree with a lever hidden in the build that lifts up a large crate to sort of represent the Force and Luke using the Force. And then there is that the smart brick is optional, but the smart brick will be able to interact with the set. Very, very strange that there's no X-Wing in this one. I was very surprised maybe there'd be a small part of the X-Wing or just a miniature build of the X-Wing. Looks like there's no rumored X-Wing in this one. It is just a large Yoda's hut, which depends on whether or not you wanted to see it. I would have been glad to see a new muddied up X-Wing. That would have been fun, but unfortunately it does not look like LEGO is going that direction, and maybe it'll look good. Maybe we'll have a nice Yoda's hut with a big interior and stuff to interact with inside using the smart brick. Alright, jumping into the next set, the 75424 AT-ST. This one includes 347 pieces and costs $50 US. It includes one smart minifigure, which is a Scout Trooper. Now, that is not what I expected. I would have imagined that it would have been an AT-ST pilot. Now, of course, take all these rumors with a grain of salt. They are all subject to change. However, the fact that a Scout Trooper is rumored rather than an AT-ST pilot really makes me concerned here and very confused. And there's also apparently going to be an Ewok included, but potentially it's sort of there's a question mark here. So they're speculating that an Ewok would be included, but it's not confirmed. There's also going to be a smart tag in this one. And it does not say that a smart brick is included, which is weird, but it includes a speeder bike side build, which is for that scout trooper, but there's no rumor for the pilot, which is very, very weird. The AT-ST has a giant head apparently, so it's probably going to look very wonky, very strange, sitting on top of the legs, a gigantic head, to be able to interact and have all the features for the smart brick to play with it. But I'm interested to see how this one will look. It's been a while since we've seen a playset version of the generic Endor AT-ST. We've seen a playset version of the Hoth AT-ST. We've seen a UCS version this past summer, but it's been a while, and I'm glad to see it return, but I am very, very disappointed that it's in this, gigantic head form with the smart brick play and not just a normal playset version. I really don't know what to expect from the smart bricks, but I really do hope that LEGO knows what they are doing and that they are prepared to see a mixed fan reaction on these sets, because I can't see a ton of fans being super happy about this. Alright, now possibly the most exciting rumor of today, we have the 75425 Mos Eisley Cantina. This one's coming in with 666 pieces and will retail for just $80 US. So this is a pretty good price here, price per piece, if you are a fan of using that to measure the value of LEGO sets. It includes apparently just one smart minifigure, and that is Greedo. We've known about him for a couple of weeks to be a rumored smart minifigure, and there are quite a few normal minifigures with 2 Bith musicians. We're also seeing a Sand Trooper return. It's been quite a few years since the return of Sand Troopers. It will be interesting to see if they give him the cloth pauldron or they give him the plastic pauldron that we saw introduced in the 2025 327 Clone Battle Pack. And then there's also Obi-Wan included in this one. It says that more additional minifigures could be included, but is not confirmed just yet. The main build is similar to the 2014 playset apparently, so you'll have just a couple of different parts of the cantina. It'll probably be opened up from the side so you can kind of see it, and it's what to expect. However, the more exciting part is the fact that the side build is a brick-built dewback. Now, I am glad to see dewbacks return. It has been a couple of years since, we've seen him in a playset. Obviously, we saw him in the Mos Eisley Cantina Master Builder Series set, but it has been a while since we saw him in a playset. I think it was 2014, correct me if I'm wrong, but a brick-built one is going to look different. It's not what I think most fans would have wanted. I would have preferred a molded one, but that is more expensive for LEGO to make, so it's going to be fun to see this. I'm sure that the smart brick will probably be able to interact with the dewback, which is cool, and I'm excited to see this one. I think a lot of fans will be very happy to see the Mos Eisley can return in a small form, and that is far more affordable to many fans rather than the expensive $350 or $400 Master Builder Series 1 that retired just a couple of years ago. And the final set is possibly the most iconic one. We have the 75426 Millennium Falcon with 885 pieces. This one will cost $100 US. It apparently includes 2 smart minifigures, one being Han Solo, which sort of makes sense for his lack of presence in the Mos Eisley Cantina. And there's also going to be Chewbacca in this one. It's going to be cool to see him as a smart minifigure. Then we're also getting one regular minifigure here with the C-3PO, and then the unknown minifigure, which is strange to see this, but they don't know whether or not Farm Boy Luke will be a smart minifigure or a regular minifigure. I will have to assume that he's a smart minifigure because it makes sense for LEGO to just reuse him from the Luke's Landspeeder, and that it also includes a smart tag. Still not sure exactly what that means. Hopefully we get more info about how all this smart brick play will actually work with the set. Now, it's interesting to note that this Millennium Falcon is not said to have any side builds at all, so it's just the Falcon by itself for $100. That's cool, except for the fact that it has 885 pieces, which is about half the size of a normal Falcon that LEGO has released, for the past 10 years or so. So I imagine this to be a very small, compact build for less than 1,000 pieces. This isn't going to be big. Honestly, I'd be surprised if it actually has more than like 2 panels open up, maybe 3 panels to reveal a very cramped interior, if any at all. I don't think LEGO's ever done one at this scale in the modern age. It has around the same piece count as the midi scale one, so that is going to be very strange to see. However, I am glad it's not going to cost like $200. So I really appreciate you guys watching this video. If you did enjoy, please let me know your thoughts, because I am very disappointed we're not getting any sort of clone sets. I was hoping that the $40 set that turned out to be Luke's Landspeeder was going to be a Wolfpack Battle Pack, but unfortunately, it looks like they're going with a bunch of original trilogy sets, which isn't bad. I would have actually not minded to see a wave of original trilogy sets, except for the fact that I'll be honest, it's pretty bad for views. People aren't as excited for these original trilogy sets rather than they are for Clone Wars and prequel trilogy sets that are good for content. And also, it's just that the Smart Break play feature will probably ruin some of these sets, especially with the AT-ST and possibly even the Emperor's Throne Room. But please let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Make sure to have a fantastic rest of your day, and goodbye.